Greetings from the New Horizon Updates channel. We're thrilled to have you in our commune where the latest news and data about our thrilling progressions are routinely shared. Be vigilant for routine updates. Let's adventure towards new horizons together. In a region prone to conflict, Sikkim recently found itself at the center of a substantial evacuation operation. This high-stakes mission saw Israeli Sikorsky helicopters move residents situated west of the 4th Highway to safety. The Israeli military, facing continuous pressure from southern Hamas groups, took decisive action. They neutralized missile launch sites and weakened the frontline strength of Hamas. Despite these efforts, the NCBA, a top-tier unit of Hamas in northern Gaza, remains stubbornly resilient. The Israeli Air Force embarked on a comprehensive clearing operation, targeting the NCBA's primary base and leadership. This move underscores Israel's determination to weaken Hamas's elite unit in preparation for possible ground operations. It's an ongoing battle in Sikkim, but Israel's fortified defenses at strategic points have been successful in warding off Hamas's aggressive moves, even as the latter steps up its short-range missile attacks. In response, Israel has expedited the deployment of a new defense system, the Ion Beam, fortified with fiber lasers. Elsewhere, engagements with Hezbollah continue, with Israel striking back against their assaults on Israeli positions in the Golan Heights. Through drone surveillance, Israel has inflicted significant losses on Hezbollah and remains vigilant against potential threats. Meanwhile, Iran and Russia are ramping up their military readiness, prompting Israel's allies to mobilize naval forces in the eastern Mediterranean. But the conflict extracts a heavy toll, especially in Gaza, where thousands have perished and homes lie in ruins. Water shortages are rampant, and the health system is teetering on the brink of collapse due to Israel's blockade. Egypt has redirected international aid flights to Gaza, even as it watches Israel's actions with concern. The Israeli military has urged civilians in Gaza's southern region to evacuate, triggering United Nations warnings of dire humanitarian consequences. Yet the United States stands firmly by Israel, with senior officials visiting and emphasizing America's commitment to Israel's cause. Israel's allies continue their efforts to curb regional support for Hamas in the conflict. In a climate of mounting tensions, worries about the Israeli army's imminent ground incursion on Gaza are growing. The United States has confirmed its unwavering backing by promising unconditional military support to Israel. Amid the turmoil, humanitarian organizations express concern that Israel's actions may violate international norms. The United Nations has raised the alarm about the immediate threat of food and water scarcity in Gaza due to the ongoing blockade. Reinforcing their support, the United States and the United Kingdom have dispatched naval vessels and initiated reconnaissance missions. The need for humanitarian intervention escalates as Gaza, with a population of 2.3 million Palestinians, faces relentless bombardment. Secretary of State Anthony Blinken affirmed Israel's right to security, while also acknowledging the Palestinians' legitimate aspirations for safety, freedom, justice, and dignity. Israel remains steadfast in its humanitarian embargo on Gaza, insisting on its continuation until the release of all hostages by Hamas. The United Nations has identified the blockade and its intensification as potential war crimes. With the health system on the verge of collapse, Gaza is in the throes of a humanitarian disaster. The Israeli Defense Forces have issued a 24-hour evacuation warning for the northern Gaza Strip, indicating a large-scale operation is on the horizon. The conflict's devastating impact is not limited to the local population, also affects foreign nationals residing in Israel. The United States is taking action to fast-track the evacuation of its citizens, with legislators calling on major airlines to restore flights from Ben Gurion International Airport, to aid in the safe return of Americans stranded in Israel. Urging airlines such as American, Delta, and United, U.S. lawmakers call for aid in the evacuation of American citizens from Israel. They highlight that airlines have been instrumental in providing assistance during crises in the past, including natural disasters, 9/11, and the recent pandemic. The escalating situation in Israel is deeply distressing, requiring steadfast support. Since the conflict erupted, the State Department has received over 20,000 inquiries from U.S. citizens concerning the Israel-Hamas war. To assist those wishing to leave, the State Department is coordinating charter flights primarily between Tel Aviv and Athens. Florida's Governor, Ron DeSantis, anticipates the arrival of evacuation flights from Israel for Florida residents under a fresh executive order. Echoing this sentiment, President Joe Biden commits to addressing Israel's needs while seeking a resolution to the humanitarian crisis in Gaza. Local communities have responded generously, Daystar Church in Alabama has raised over $42,000 to assist Americans returning from Israel. The tense climate in the region has resulted in significant casualties and unrest, with reports of casualties in the West Bank and East Jerusalem. The UK's ambassador to the UN, Dame Barbara Woodward, appeals the UN Security Council to secure the release of hostages in the Middle East and de-escalate the conflict in the region. In essence, the intensifying conflict between the Israeli army and Hamas militants has created a precarious situation in the region.